In a recent interview, Floyd Mayweather made a statement suggesting that black fighters should support one another. However, it seems his actions don't fully reflect his words, especially when it comes to Terence Crawford. Right now, Crawford is in the middle of intense training for his upcoming fight with Canelo Alvarez. His focus is clear. He isn't just after a big paycheck. He's aiming to make history in boxing.
Be in the position that he's in. I think he has a beautiful family. I think he has a beautiful wife, a beautiful queen, a black queen. And there's nothing better than a black woman in this world. That's just my opinion. We all entitled to our opinion. And I think just in the sport of boxing right now, I think we need to start sticking more together, pushing.
Crawford's camp is filled with young, hungry fighters eager to learn from him. He's sparring with bigger opponents to prepare for the super middleweight division and fine-tuning the small details that can make all the difference in September. However, not everyone sees the full picture. Floyd Mayweather recently praised Crawford, calling him the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. But he's also skeptical about Crawford's true intentions.
Hey, what's your thoughts on Floyd wanting to see Crawford fight David Benavidez?
That's wild.
Mayweather believes Crawford isn't chasing history, but is instead after a payday. In Floyd's view, Canelo is the ultimate lottery ticket, a fight that guarantees financial security, no matter the result. Because of this, Mayweather doesn't see Crawford as a role model for the next generation of fighters. Instead, he believes true champions take the harder path, which for Floyd means facing David Benavidez first. According to Mayweather, if Crawford wanted to prove himself, he should step in the ring with Benavidez, a relentless powerhouse who has been calling out Canelo for years. But Crawford isn't buying into that argument. He views Floyd's words as a distraction and a way to control the narrative, something Mayweather has done throughout his career.
I'm a fan of that fight. They're too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo is, fighting at 168.
The tension between Mayweather and Crawford is nothing new. There's a long-standing belief that Floyd has never truly wanted to see another fighter rise to his level. Every time a great fighter emerges, Mayweather finds a way to downplay their accomplishments. He did it with Canelo before their fight.
Canelo versus Crawford, the biggest fight in the game.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like when you're looking at Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, this is the next thing.
But Crawford isn't letting it bother him. Throughout his career, he's proven people wrong, and he plans to do it again. While Mayweather was known for his defensive brilliance, Crawford's approach is different. He doesn't just avoid punishment. He punishes his opponents for every mistake they make. He's been adjusting his footwork to handle the power Canelo brings to the table. And although some people believe it won't be enough, Crawford has a unique ability that Canelo doesn't have. He can adjust mid-fight and completely break down an opponent. That's why so many fans see this as a huge fight.
And Canelo's gonna walk him down. Crawford is gonna do a lot of defense. Now, if he pulls off that win, dude, that's gonna be one of the most biggest upsets of all time for this dude to go up that many weight classes. And now I do think that, he's going to get his little shots in as far as, finessing and all that, because his hands are definitely way faster than Canelo. But just the weight and the way that Canelo fights.
There's another factor being overlooked in all the talk about legacy: the risk Crawford is taking. While some fighters carefully pick their matches, Crawford is stepping into a fight where the odds are against him. He could have stayed at 154 pounds, dominated that division, and still build his legacy. Instead, he's moving up to fight a man who has already beaten some of the best fighters in the sport. It's the kind of move that creates legends, but it's also the type of move that can end careers. That's why Mayweather's comments about Benavidez don't sit well with many. If Crawford is just after a payday, why would he take on such a challenging fight?
Talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. So let's not do that.
Some believe that Floyd is trying to keep Crawford from succeeding where he failed. Mayweather fought Canelo when Canelo was young and inexperienced. He never gave him a rematch and never tested himself against the best version of Canelo. Now, Crawford is stepping into the ring with a prime Canelo, a fighter who has become one of the biggest stars in the sport. If Crawford wins, he'll do something Mayweather never did: beat the best version of Canelo. That would shake up the conversation around Mayweather's legacy, and maybe that's the real reason Floyd doesn't want this fight to happen. He could see it as a threat to his place in boxing history. But Crawford isn't worried about Floyd's opinions. He's focused on proving people wrong.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this.
Crawford knows that if he wins, the same people who are calling this a payday fight will be calling him one of the greatest of all time. He's already heard whispers that if he beats Canelo, he could become the first fighter to achieve undisputed status in 4 different weight classes. No fighter in history has done that. Not Mayweather, not Sugar Ray Leonard, not Muhammad Ali. That's the kind of legacy Crawford is chasing. And he doesn't care what anyone else has to say about it.
Canelo, but it's Canelo better technique, because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think. If knockout, it's Canelo.
What makes Crawford so difficult to fight against?
He has power, smart.
Even Canelo's team has taken notice of Crawford's preparation. They expected him to struggle with the weight gain, but reports from his camp suggest he's handling it well. He's sparring with bigger, stronger fighters and still dominating. Trainers watching from a distance say his speed hasn't slowed down and his precision is just as sharp as ever. Canelo's team expected to see a sluggish, slower Crawford, but instead, they're getting a version of him that looks even more dangerous. Madrimov himself sees it differently, though, believing Crawford will be the better boxer if there's no knockout.
A man coming from 147, I know he's a great man. Crawford is a great man and a great warrior. But you come from 147 to put on a better fight than Charlo. I mean, I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that means that Crawford is so great and he can do that, or that means that Charlo set the bar so damn low that anybody can do better than Charlo.
Meanwhile, David Benavidez is watching from the sidelines, frustrated that once again, Canelo has overlooked him. He sees himself as the true challenger at 168 pounds and isn't shy about saying Crawford shouldn't be in the mix. He recently said that Canelo is supposed to fight the real super middleweights, not guys moving up from welterweight. But that's the fight game. It's not just about rankings and mandates. It's about timing, business, and legacy. And right now, the biggest fight in boxing isn't Benavidez versus Canelo. It's Crawford versus Canelo. Even Floyd Mayweather can't change that. Crawford knows what's at stake. He's preparing for the biggest fight of his life, ignoring the doubters and staying focused. He's not just looking for a win. He's looking to make history, whether Mayweather and others like it or not.
Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy.
It was just recently that Floyd Mayweather praised Crawford for being the best fighter in boxing today. Despite Canelo's dominance across multiple divisions and his upcoming fight with Crawford, Mayweather insists that Crawford is the best fighter out there right now. While his statement seems like a compliment to Crawford, many believe there's a deeper reason behind it. For years, Mayweather has downplayed Canelo's achievements, never fully crediting his rise to superstardom. Even though Canelo has become the face of boxing, Floyd still clings to the fact that he beat him in 2013, using it as proof that Canelo was never truly great. Now, as Canelo prepares to face Crawford, Mayweather is making it clear who he believes deserves the top spot in boxing.
The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
You know.
But is this really about rankings, or is it just another way for Floyd to take a jab at his former rival? Some fans believe Floyd's true motivation is protecting his own legacy. Terence Crawford is getting closer to Mayweather's 50-0 record, and if he beats Canelo, it could put him in a historic position. By declaring Crawford the best right now, Mayweather is strategically shifting the narrative. If Crawford wins, Floyd can claim he saw it coming, adding more weight to his own opinion. If Canelo wins, Floyd can say Crawford was never that great to begin with. Either way, Mayweather keeps himself at the center of the conversation.
Canelo moved up one weight class and had trouble at 175. Crawford's gonna have so much trouble going up 2 weight classes. So I will agree with you, this is like a big factor on why he might lose. But if he uses his IQ and pulls like a Shakur Stevenson in the ring, I can see him winning the rounds. But if he goes toe-to-toe with Crawford, you mean Canelo? Like, if he goes toe-to-toe with, if Crawford goes toe-to-toe with Canelo,
There's another layer to this. Mayweather has made it clear that he only respects fighters who follow his blueprint of controlling their careers and maximizing earnings. Canelo, despite being a huge draw, has taken dangerous fights without waiting for the perfect financial conditions, something Floyd never did. Meanwhile, Crawford has fought his way up the hard way, dealing with promoter issues and struggling to land big fights until recently. Mayweather's praise for Crawford may be genuine, but it could also be a way of undermining Canelo's value as the sport's biggest attraction.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. Big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. It ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now.
Canelo has never responded well to Floyd's dismissive comments, and this time won't be any different. If he beats Crawford, he will likely fire back at Mayweather, demanding respect for his achievements. But if Crawford pulls off the upset, it would cause a major shift in boxing's power structure. Floyd's words would suddenly carry even more weight, and his influence over the sport would continue, even in retirement. Whether Mayweather truly believes Crawford is the best or is just playing mind games, one thing is clear. He's not letting Canelo take the throne without a fight, and that's the same thing Andre Ward sees.
What I have to say to Canelo is this. You proved yourself already. You proved yourself. You fought a lot of great fighters. You tested yourself. You went up in weight to numerous weight classes. Like myself and like other fighters throughout the years. Same thing with Pacquiao.
Even if Crawford is dismissing Mayweather's point of view, if he really wants to beat Canelo Alvarez, he may have no better example to follow than Floyd Mayweather Jr. Mayweather was a first, and so far the only fighter to completely dominate Canelo in the ring. His masterclass in 2013 remains one of the most dissected fights in modern boxing, and many believe Crawford has the skills to replicate it. But here's where things get controversial. Canelo Alvarez is not the same fighter he was when he lost to Mayweather. Some argue that trying to copy Floyd's style might backfire on Crawford, because Canelo has spent years evolving into a more well-rounded fighter. He's improved his defense, his counterpunching has become elite, and his ability to cut off the ring has frustrated slick boxers before.
Ryan Garcia.
Right. What about Canelo and Crawford? What do you think?
That's gonna be a great fight too. I can't believe they made that happen. Turkey's been making a lot of great fights happen. You can't really hate on it. But I'm excited for that. I know Canelo, he's so big, so strong, and I think he'll be just too big. I mean, weight classes matter.
If Crawford plans to take a page out of Floyd's playbook, he'll need to make key adjustments to avoid the traps Canelo has set for fighters who rely too much on movement. One major factor working against Crawford is the weight difference. Mayweather was already an established champion at 154 pounds when he fought Canelo, while Crawford is making an unprecedented jump from welterweight to super middleweight. This isn't just about putting on weight. It's about carrying that weight effectively without sacrificing speed and endurance. Mayweather never had to worry about that, because he fought Canelo at a much younger age, when Canelo was still struggling to make 154 pounds. But today, Crawford will face a Canelo who is comfortable at 168 pounds and has spent years adapting to the division's physical demands.
Canelo's a stronger guy, the bigger guy, but in the fight with a guy that moves around, and if Crawford uses his skills and his legs and his technique and just his ability, I think he can win. He can win the fight.
There's also a psychological battle at play. Canelo has never truly accepted his loss to Mayweather, often dismissing it as an experience that helped him grow. If Crawford tries to mimic Floyd too much, Canelo may see it as an insult, a reminder of his loss to Mayweather. This could push Canelo to become even more aggressive, hunting Crawford down with relentless pressure. Crawford's best bet is not just a move and counter like Mayweather, but to mix in his own unique skill set, switching angles, being unpredictable, and showing a killer instinct that Floyd never had. Many fans believe this could be the game changer.
Say like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components.
Some believe Crawford's confidence in this fight could also be a double-edged sword. While he insists he can handle Canelo's power and size, many question whether he's truly prepared for the level of physicality that comes with facing a fighter like Canelo. Crawford has never fought anyone even close to Canelo's size and strength. If Crawford gets hit with one of Canelo's signature body shots early, will his game plan fall apart? Even Sean Porter himself has questioned this.
Do wonder how effective Crawford can be if he keeps moving up in weight. Like you're starting to see that, now he's not quite as strong. The knockout streak is over, but he can box really, really well. But Madrimov pressed him the whole fight. So obviously the power wasn't getting the respect that he might have gotten when he was a little at the smaller weight classes. And remember, Canelo is a guy who presses a lot. That's one thing Canelo does. Canelo's not very active, but he gets in your face. And
Then there's the business side of things. If Crawford manages to frustrate Canelo the way Mayweather did, there's a real chance the fight could become a slow, defensive chess match. That's the last thing the promoters want. A tactical fight with minimal action could turn off fans, especially those expecting a war.
Is he fair against Canelo?
He can't beat Canelo. No way. I mean, I don't see him beating Canelo. He didn't even look that strong against Madrimov, to be honest. And Madrimov's not even a big.
They have a different style, though. Madrimov has a jerky
different style, yeah, but
in and out, count him, punching.
If that happens, Canelo's team could start pushing for a rematch clause that favors him, making it harder for Crawford to capitalize on a victory. Crawford may want to follow Floyd's blueprint, but he has to be careful because Canelo has spent a decade preparing for it. But if anyone has the blueprint to beat Canelo Alvarez, it's Dmitry Bivol. The Russian light heavyweight made history in 2022 by handing Canelo only his second professional loss, using size, movement, and discipline to neutralize the Mexican superstar's power. Now, as Terence Crawford prepares to take on Canelo later this year, many are wondering if Bivol's strategy could work for Bud, or if Crawford is walking into a fight he simply can't win.
Bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He will take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if he gets.
Bivol exposed a key flaw in Canelo's game, his over-reliance on power punches instead of setting traps or mixing up his shots. Canelo often loads up on every punch, looking to break down his opponents, but Bivol was too disciplined to fall into that rhythm. He kept his distance, controlled the pace, and forced Canelo to waste energy swinging at air. By the later rounds, Canelo was visibly frustrated and fatigued, unable to land the fight-changing shot he was looking for. Crawford, known for his elite boxing IQ, could use a similar approach. But there's one major problem.
Canelo, based on last fight, is a 50-50. So Canelo fights an undisputed champ, up-and-coming former champion, and an up-and-coming undefeated contender. And somehow those three last opponents are somehow compared to Bud's Madrimov fight, making it.
Bivol had a size advantage that Crawford simply won't have. Canelo struggled against Bivol because he was giving up too much height and reach. Against Crawford, Canelo will be the naturally bigger man, and that changes everything. Bivol was able to take Canelo's best punches without being seriously hurt. Can Crawford do the same? Even his biggest supporters admit that it's a huge question mark. He might be a more skilled boxer, but when a fighter is jumping 2 weight classes, skill alone doesn't always guarantee victory.
You heard what Bud said. Weight classes for a reason. But then Bud and his team heard the TBV show. Then it's like, yo, you know what? Bud, we could throw the towel in. We gonna shimmy all the way to the bank. We gonna drop this 9 figures in the bank. We got you. Do we believe we could beat them? Yeah. What other opportunity in life are you gonna get to make 100 and something million? Look at Evan. Coach Evan said 150. Bud, he think Bud get. What other opportunity?
However, Crawford also has to be careful not to play it too safe. If he focuses too much on defense and movement, he risks getting robbed on the scorecards. How do you see it? Share your take below and subscribe for more updates.